Hi guys, welcome back to Football Heaven 24/7. I'm your host Jamie. I'm going to launch straight into it. I'm doing predictions from the Premier League straight down to League Two. Going to go into the Premier League at the weekend, and the first game that's on the early kickoff on the Saturday is Aston Villa against Arsenal. Now Arsenal, they've had a really bad week in a lot of ways. Dropped points against Brentford last on Saturday, just gone. They lost quite a crucial game at home to Manchester City last night, losing 3-1. Goals from De Bruyne, Grealish, and Haaland gave Manchester City a 3-1 win. Now, Manchester City went above Arsenal last night on goal difference. They're both on 51 points. Arsenal have a game in hand, but I don't think that will make any difference now. Psychologically, I think Arsenal are flattened for the title. A lot of Arsenal fans, ones that I know locally, have been saying that they didn't think they were going to win the title anyway, even when they were like quite a few points ahead. But they're happy to get Champions League, which we can definitely say, hand on heart, they're definitely going to end up with Champions League this season. So, yeah, I think the title, like I say, has been conceded to Manchester City. But as I say, Aston Villa against Arsenal, I think psychologically Arsenal are going to be a little bit dented by what happened at the weekend. And I actually fancy a 2-2 draw in this game between Aston Villa and Arsenal. I think Aston Villa will turn up in this game. And they are a bit undifferent this season, but I think they'll get a point. So I'm going to go 2-2 in that game. Brentford then play Crystal Palace in in a London derby. Brentford are having a fantastic season, lying in eighth position in the league. Ivan Toney's obviously scoring a lot of goals for him. I fancy this to be an easy win for Brentford. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Brentford in that game. And then going into the next game, Brighton against Fulham. Brighton are also having a fantastic season. Brighton are up to sixth in the league. They're doing absolutely insane this year. Could they have an outside chance of getting in the Champions League? Probably not. But they're still playing some good football. And I fancy them in this game as well. It's going to be a tight contest, I think. Fulham, like I say, are also having a great season. Fulham are lying in ninth position, I believe. So it's sixth against ninth. So looking at it all, I think Brighton will come out on top. But I'm just going to go for 2-1 Brighton in this game. And then we've got Chelsea against Southampton. Chelsea, they brought in a lot of players, to be fair. They spent a lot of money, the most money in the Premier League this season. Will it be enough for them to beat Southampton? It definitely will be. Southampton are very crap this season. They're not doing great at all. They sacked their manager, Nathan Jones. He was only in charge for something like 13 or 10 games or something, 13 games or something stuff like that. The way of how things are when you're at the bottom. I think Chelsea an easy win here. I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 3-0 in that game. And then we got a crucial relegation game down the bottom end of the table. Everton, who are in the last place in the relegation zone, are at home to Leeds United, who are just above them in 17th. So very tough game. I think both teams, they got to get something out of this. I think it'll be a very tight affair. I'm going for a 1-1 draw in this game, as I think both teams not that much better than each other. So I think they'll end up with a 1-1 draw. So that's what I'm going for with that. Then my team, my beloved Nottingham Forest, are up against Manchester City. Now, Manchester City may rest a few players. They've got the Champions League coming up against Red Bull Leipzig, but I don't think that they're going to have too much trouble against my team, unfortunately. I'm going to go for Manchester City to win this game, and I'm going to go for, unfortunately, my team to get humbled 3-1 by Manchester City. I just can't see us getting anything. We've got all our central defenders are injured, so we'll have to be playing right backs or left backs in those positions in central defence. Manchester City are just going to have too much for us. And if I was going to do a cheeky little flutter on it, I would say go for Haaland to score a brace in that game. So, yeah, so 3-1 to Manchester City, unfortunately, I think, in that one. I think it's going to be a bridge too far for Forest. We do play quite well at home, but against those kind of attacking options, I think we're going to struggle. So, anyway, yeah, 3-1 Man City. And then finally, on the Saturday games in the Premier League, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they're up against Bournemouth, or as Soccer AM used to call it, Bournemouth. So I'll go for, I think it's going to be a tough one. I think that, though, that Wolves will come out on top. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Wolves in that one, as Wolves pull further away from the relegation zone. That'll be their third win on the bounce as well if they do win 2-0. So that's what I'm going for. Going to jump in the Championship now. Looking in the Championship at the weekend, Blackburn are playing Swansea City. Blackburn, they've had quite an indifferent season, to be honest. Blackburn, I feel, will beat Swansea, though, and I think it will be a 1-0 win to Blackburn in that game. Then we've got Blackpool up against Stoke. Blackpool are bottom of the Championship. Stoke aren't doing much better. They're only like in 19th or something crazy like that. So they're having not a great season. But Stoke did pick it up in their last game last night, beating Huddersfield Town 3-0. I feel that Stoke will have a bit too much for Blackpool in this game, and I'll go for 2-1 to Stoke in that game. Then we've got Huddersfield against Birmingham City. Now, Huddersfield have got Neil Warnock back in charge. He's back at the club for the first time in something like 28 years or something crazy since he was managing them back in 1996. So actually, it's more like less than 28 years. My maths is terrible. But anyway, it's a long time. But I think that Huddersfield may get something from this game. I think they'll get something to get them out of trouble. I'm going to go 2-1 Huddersfield against Birmingham City. Hull then are up against Preston. Hull were on a good run, but they got absolutely battered the other night away at Norwich City, who are not a bad team. They lost 3-1. I think Hull will, in this game, will find it a little bit difficult as well, but I'll go for a 1-1 draw in that game. And we've got Luton up against Barnsley. Sorry, not Barnsley. Luton up against Burnley. Burnley are miles clear at the top, but they only got a 1-1 draw a couple of nights ago against Watford. So that was a bit of a dip for them, but there's still something crazy like 18 or 19 points clear of the third place team or something. So it's insane, really. I'm going to go for Burnley to win that game. I'm going to say Burnley to win. I think I'll go 3-1 in that one for Burnley. And then Middlesbrough at home against QPR. QPR on a really, really poor run. They haven't won in something daft like 13 games or 14 games or something like that. Last time they won was away at Preston, QPR. But looking at it, I think that Middlesbrough will absolutely slaughter them. I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to Middlesbrough in that game. And then we've got Millwall against Sheffield United. That's an early kickoff. I think Sheffield United did get battered by Middlesbrough last night, 3-1 at home. First sort of major slip they've had for a long time, though, to be fair. Sheffield United is still lying in second in the table. Millwall are just outside the playoffs now after they lost the other night. But I think this will be a tight game. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And then we've got Rotherham against Coventry. Rotherham, they're just outside the relegation zone, but I feel like they might slip in it if they're not careful, but I feel like they'll get a 1-0 win here against Coventry, so I'll go 1-0 there. Sunderland then up against Bristol City. Sunderland are on a really good vein of form at the moment, but Bristol City are no mugs. They have had some good recent results. They're on an unbeaten run at the moment, actually, Bristol City, in Cup and League. I think they're something like 9 games unbeaten. They drew 1-0 with Wigan the other night. I think this will be a tough game for Sunderland, but I think Sunderland will come out on top. I'm going to go 2-1 Sunderland. And then we've got Wigan up against Norwich. I can only see one winner here. I'm going to go for Norwich to win 2-0 in that game. So that's my predictions for Championship. And then, do you know what? I'm not going to do League 1 and League 2. I don't think there's many people that watch this that support League 1 and League 2 teams. So I'm going to not do the predictions for that. But I'm going to skip straight on to the Sunday games. Manchester United are up against Leicester. Manchester United, this is going out on a Thursday evening, or afternoon, should I say. So Manchester United, they're on the Thursday evening game. They're away at Barcelona. I think they'll be quite tired. My prediction for Manchester United against Barcelona is just to lose 2-1 at Barcelona tonight. So that's my prediction. But I think when they're playing Leicester on Sunday, they may rest some players, but I think they'll have enough in the tank. I'm going to go for Rashford to get a brace and for Man United to win that one 2-1 against Leicester. And then it's a massive London derby between Tottenham and West Ham. Going to say in this one, I'm going to stick my neck on the line. Tottenham had a bad result the previous week, losing 4-1 against Leicester City. I feel that they'll compete really well in this game, but I'm actually going to go for Tottenham to win 3-2 in this. I'm thinking they're going to have some goals in them. I'm thinking that West Ham are going to put up a good fight as well, but I think Tottenham are going to get back on track. So, yeah, 3-2 to Tottenham in that game. and then that's it. That's it for basically all the predictions. But nothing major's happened in the week. Leeds United did sack Jesse March, as a lot of people know that might watch the show. Um, but Southampton were interested in getting him, but they were unable to meet his demands that he wanted. So Southampton's search for a manager still goes on. I personally think, looking at the Premier League table at the moment, I think Southampton and Bournemouth are going to go down for definite. And then I think it's one between Leeds and Everton, and possibly West Ham are going to slip in. I think Forest, not being biased, but I think we'll have enough in our home games. We'll be able to beat some teams, and we've still got to play Wolves and Everton and Crystal Palace and teams like that that are in and around Forest. I think we'll have too much. I predicted that Forest will need about 5 wins and a draw to stay up. That'll give them 16 points. That'll take them up to that magic total of 40 points. I think 40 points will be enough for teams to avoid relegation this season. So I think Forest are more than capable of doing that, getting 5 wins and 1 draw in the next 16 games. Obviously, I think we'll lose against Manchester City, goes without saying. Manchester City are a really good team, are the best team in the country at the moment. So, so I don't think that's what's going to go on. I can't see anything else shaping up. I think Manchester City, now they're, like I said earlier, now they're top of the Premier League. I cannot see them mentality dropping. They have the experience, they've got the know-how, and they've got fantastic players all around the pitch. I think the title is definitely going to go with Manchester City now. My predictions for the top 4, I would say that the teams might jumble around a bit between Manchester City, Man United, Newcastle. Tottenham are still up there. I feel that Tottenham will eventually overtake Newcastle for that 4th space. I think Newcastle have slipped a little bit. I still think Newcastle will finish 5th, though, and have a good season. Anyway, that's been my predictions for this weekend coming up. Thank you to all those that like and subscribe. Those that don't, get behind me. Get loads of your friends and family getting behind us as a channel. I enjoy doing this, no matter how many people I get viewing it. And whoever you support, have a great week. I hope your team wins at the weekend. Bye for now.